Perfect. Perfect. Welcome to Dirty Fanatics United.
Falcon fans, welcome to Dirty Fanatics United, where we will break down tonight's halftime show. I'm your host, Chase, as always, followed by my co-host, Philip. Philip, first quarter, second quarter is over with. It is the halftime report here with DFU. Philip, before we get into the stats, tell me what you've seen from a whole. How are we feeling as a Falcon fan looking at the depth? Obviously, a very, very significant injury during the first quarter, the first 3 minutes of the game. DeMarco Hellams goes down. Philip, your thoughts of DeMarco Hellams, possibly season-ending injury, another one to hit the bug. Philip, your thoughts.
From looking at it, it looked like it was just maybe like a small fractured ankle. To me, I feel like he could be back maybe, week 4 or 5, somewhere in there. Don't look like it was too serious, but it looked like he was definitely bummed out about it. But
I've seen when they took the helmet off, DeMarco Hellams said the F word a couple times.
I've seen it when he went down, and it just it's agitated.
Didn't look good as a Falcon fan to see DeMarco Hellams on the ground. Obviously, never want to see a player get hurt, especially a Falcon player to be carted off here in the first preseason game. The one thing, Philip, that we spoke on before we started the show was we wanted to see everybody come off healthy. And there's been a couple of injuries since this game started.
A lot of Miami players.
DeMarco Hellams, thankfully for just us, but DeMarco Hellams, a huge one, Philip, to go down. We just spoke on the Justin Simmons. Who wouldn't get paid? How do you get Justin Simmons here? If DeMarco Hellams is gone, if DeMarco Hellams is out, you just may well see a Justin Simmons entertain. Philip, let's jump into the stats, man. Our rookie quarterback, the future for Atlanta, Michael Penix Jr. comes out and throws 9 for 16, 104 yards in just a quarter and a half. He played the whole first quarter, obviously. Second quarter, he played 2 drives, I believe it was.
Played up till 6 minutes.
A couple of running plays that put us behind the chains, and Penix seemed to find a way to get us back in front of those chains. Obviously, running with the second team, a bunch of backups, third string as well. Offensive line not really blocking like they should. Philip, your thoughts of Michael Penix Jr., his first welcome to the NFL moment here from Michael Penix Jr.
He looked, I will say he looks very confident, basically. That's what I'm going to say. I want to say comfortable, but in a way it is that. He just looked confident. He, checking every situation, scanning the field left and right, man. He looks great. I'm impressed. I'm not going to lie, because looking back at Ritter's first preseason game, he wasn't scanning the field like this ever. Penix is scanning the field, pressure in his face. He's, he's not panicking. He's just looks right, man. It just feels right for some reason. I don't know. And he's put some zip on the ball. He looks
some
great.
Nice stats, Philip. Some nice stats to go off of. There were a couple overthrown, and then again that comes back to chemistry with these receivers. They've only been going for a couple of months now.
Some of them is good ball placement.
Some's good ball placement. Some you can tell is a little too much touch to it, which he's got the arm. So learning these routes, learning these receivers is going to take time.
We can throw out there. He has been working with first team most of the time anyway. So
other than when they run the first defense against the second string, he's obviously taking those reps there. But, Penix looked good to me. I liked how he scanned the field, turning the defense on the play option read or the screen option read where he's looking to the left and he just calmly turns to his backside, tosses a screen pass for a first down. Chris Blair, Philip, 2 for I believe it's 45 yards. Chris Blair did give up the fumble to start the game. He went, let's see, I just had
I'm
it.
gonna
Chris
be
Blair,
honest.
two receptions for 45 yards is a pretty good stat line. One fumble, which could have been controversial if it was a athletic football move or if it was a knockout incomplete pass.
Yeah.
But Chris Blair makes up for it for 2 catches, 45 yards. Phillip, a player that's got targeted a lot tonight. Casey Washington
looking good.
went 3. Let's see. Casey Washington went with 1 catch. No, my bad. 3 catches, 27 yards. With an average of 9 yards. Chris Blair with the average of 22.5 with just 2 catches is pretty nice to see. Penix putting the ball. Yep, Carlos Washington with the touchdown, the burst that he come out the backfield with. I seen when he gave him that ball, I knew it was a touchdown.
And then
it looked like a Tyler Algier run, Phillip.
And then you have McClellan, I think that's his name, from Alabama.
Yep.
First run, man. I was kind of hyped about it just from
Phillip,
preseason
a player
game.
that I was really pleased with, John Fitzpatrick, the guy that Raheem has been wanting to see more from, making a dynamic block for the run touchdown, the go-ahead touchdown there.
As we speak.
Who was that?
Looking at it now. Looks like they collided. It ain't sure. It hasn't looked like they've shown anything yet, but
Phillip,
it looked like the offensive
lineman. Phillip, we've got to talk about the muff snap with Taylor Heineke. I don't care if it is a fumble, if it is a false start or not. You play until that whistle's blown. And Taylor Heineke gave me no effort when he watched that ball roll past his feet.
Oh, no, this Braylon Trice.
Oh, man, that is not what we need, man.
Oh, no.
What's wrong with him?
He's walking. He's not being carted, but he is limping.
Maybe just a little banged up. Braylon Trice, I believe, coming back.
Oh, his knee looked like it just gave out on him.
Damn. This is what you don't want, Falcon fans. You don't want to come out of a preseason game with a lot of key players injured. Who'd you say it was, Phillip?
Braylon
Trice. Braylon Trice, a guy that we talked about, a player to watch before this game started. And then, I mean, it happens. It's the NFL. It does happen. But you do not want to lose players in preseason. You lost DeMarco Hellens possibly for the season. If it's hoping and praying it's nothing serious, DeMarco Hellens is going to play a big role, I think, in this defense.
Who was it that got the interception? Was it King?
What's his name?
Was it Hamilton?
No, starts with an A. Antoine. No, I'd have to go back and look. Phillip, give me 1 second. I can give you that name. But, Phillip, another player I want to talk about, Zach Harrison on the defense, getting the pressure.
Good.
Looking nice. Phillip, the guy that you're talking about is Hamilton Sr. with the interception. No, actually, it was King. But Hamilton has been the player that's been all over the field.
That was what I was going to say. The player so far on the defense to me is Hamilton. He's been everywhere making stops. He read the first few plays, bro. Like, he's just looking good. He's wanting to solidify a spot on this team. And I
have yet to see, and we're headed into the third quarter now, D'Angelo Malone. Not even getting rep in the second quarter.
He's making some very good stops, though, on special teams. Some very good stops.
Has he been on special teams?
He's been on special teams. Very good stops. I think it was the first punt that we made, the first drive, their first drive. One of them bounced into him. He got off the tackle, but he ran backwards. He stopped him for a good bit of loss of yards. So
nice. Another play, Phillip, getting the pressure. Condavious Street he had an impact early in the game, making a tackle in the backfield for a loss. And then he came out shortly after that. But Condavious Street showing pressure here in preseason. Laquel London really hasn't shown me anything yet. Phillip, if you noticed, coming out on the field, starting at nose tackle was Eddie Goldman.
He's been out there as well.
To start the night was Eddie Goldman, so obviously they're looking to find a spot for Eddie Goldman on this.
Eddie Goldman's been he put up some pressure earlier, I will say, from what I've seen.
Another player that we said to watch, J.D. Bertrand, all over the field tonight, already with 3 tackles, 1 assist here at halftime. Obviously got stiffed on once. It's going to happen. You're going to get beaten.
You saw it too.
I've seen it. But Bertrand really all over the field when it comes to athleticism. That's there. That, to me, Bertrand looks like another Nate Lemon out there on the field. Roaming the backfield. He's able to get to the ball. He's left to right linebacker. Phillip, any other player on the defense that you want to speak of that? And speaking real quick on the Hellum situation, now it's time for Richie to step up
Richie!
and fill that role. If you don't go get a Justin Simmons, if Helms is really out for the rest of the year, you've got to get on the game, Richie. You got to be in line. You got to fill that position because DeMarco Helms made a lot of tackles last year. A lot of tackles for the Falcons last year at his
and the short amount of time
towards the end of the year, that he played. Millie Mills checking in with DFU for the halftime report says, "Hey, yo, Penix looked good as fuck." I'm like, his patience. He likes his patience. Philip, we talked about how he was calm in the pocket. He makes the pass. He doesn't panic. He takes his eyes, sends the defense one way, slightly turns around, throws a beautiful screen for a 12-yard gain, first down, move the chains. Philip, I want to talk about the digital challenge. That was so dumb.
My first thing was the refs was going to go along with it and say it was a first down. I called it from back there.
An experiment.
I said he stepped out of bounds. Did he not? Like they didn't. It didn't make a damn that he stepped out. They were still going to give them the first down over a program that was told them that they got the first down just because the ball was there. It doesn't matter where the ball's at if your foot's out of bounds. Okay.
Philip, I work at a paper mill pretty much every day. Computers mess up every day.
Right, exactly.
That experiment, I don't think is going to be reliable for the NFL.
It didn't. I was just like, because before and shout out to Raheem, a coach that finally knows how to challenge the damn play. He challenged it and won it. So
this year, I believe if you get one, you have to have the first challenge you throw has to be correct, and if he gets another challenge right, he gets an extra challenge. That's a new rule this year. So if you get two challenges right, if he was to lose the first one and then get the second one right, he obviously doesn't get the third challenge. Get both challenges correct, you get an extra challenge this year. Philip, anybody else on, I don't know, maybe the offense that kind of took your eye? We talked about John Fitzpatrick, Michael Penix Jr., obviously. Anybody else? Casey Washington Jr., or Carlos Washington Jr., my bad. Anybody else? Obviously, this is backups. This is a vanilla playbook right now. Millie Mills said, "What number is Dolores and Rook?" Philip, Rook is
number 98.
Rook is 98. Trice is 48, Philip?
48, yes.
And that's the one that just went down. The Trice, I hope Trice is good, man, because I feel like he's going to be a big piece for this defense later on throughout the year as well. I'll have to check on with the Dolores number here in a second. Preston Sapp in the chat said, "I like what I'm seeing from Penix and Washington Jr. Very solid pocket precision by Penix, able to sit in the pocket, able to deliver the hard passes. Pressure in his face. O-line really not blocking for him.
Looking comfortable, scanning the field like he's been doing this for months. Like, man, this is something we ain't seen. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can't down Ritter because he didn't have the coach. Okay, but you still in the college, in college, you're supposed to have the ability to scan the field. Even then, I look back at film, he didn't scan the field all that well. And that was his downfall.
Philip, we talked about it before the show or before the game started. We talked about, I said, if Penix could put up 100 to 150 yards in the first half, I would be happy. And he succeeded and gave me 9 for 16, 104 yards. That, to me, was pretty impressive for a rookie that was talked badly upon when it came to the college playoffs. Nobody was giving him the chance today. The Falcons were the laughingstock of the NFL and pretty much still are to some fans for drafting Michael Penix in the first round. But I think as these preseason games go, you want to see Penix continue to progress. You don't want to see him take a downfall. You want to see him continue to climb, continue to make better decisions, get some of these high balls down. And I think you'll see that through this preseason because this was, as we said, Michael Penix Jr.'s first official first official start in the NFL. So obviously some things he can work on, but very pleased with what we've seen in Michael Penix. President Sapp says defense has some things to work on in the run game. I was a little concerned about how they gave the same play up 2 times and then lost it in a play action. Arnold Ebiketie on the right side, we did say Ebiketie got some pressure early into the game, but those run plays were right down the Ebiketie. He could not get off that block. Once again, I'll say it again, Ebiketie is a stand-up linebacker, weak side linebacker off the edge. Send him in a stand-up position, Ebiketie has no reason to be down on his hands. Philip, your thoughts on Preston's comment here about the defense, some working to do on the run game?
I will admit, but I'm looking at it this way, though. This isn't our, full starters. So, man, I mean, I do get it, but we do need to work on that, though. It's people like Ebiketie, you need to work on that. You're a, 4-year veteran, 3 or 4 year veteran.
4, yeah.
Man, you gotta get into it, man. Like, we gotta get it together. You're supposed to be calling this against people that don't play all the time.
Philip, honestly, seeing Ebiketie out there on the field for the first and second quarter shows that coach has to see something in Ebiketie, and maybe they're not seeing that this training camp. I did hear a lot of good news coming from Ebiketie side of the fence, speaking on how many sacks he would have had in practice. They talk about how these live practices with other teams are more important than preseason games because you don't want to nationally broadcast what your offense or defense is going to be for this year. So I'm happy overall with what I've seen. I need to see more out of Ebiketie.
I'll shout out to the defense, though. That, like, it still would be 10-10 if it wasn't for – because they made the stops. If it wasn't for Heineke and his jackass wanting to call a false start, get the damn ball.
Yeah.
Like, it would be still 10-10. You know, it wouldn't – that I'm going to just say that. Defense has held their own. Like, they bent, but it hasn't broke fully. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna give them that benefit of the doubt. But there are some things that, you know, of course, it's first preseason game. We're gonna go back and work on it. We'll figure it out.
Our guy Carlton Bunch in the chat says Heineke got to be on the trade lot tomorrow.
He already is.
First thing Philip sent me as soon as that happened. Dude, they can trade Heineke tonight. I don't care. Heineke, man. I mean, you got to play until the whistle's blown. Like, I mean, I get it. It did look like I can't remember who it was on that right side. Storm Norton, I think it was. Somebody did jump. It definitely was a false start, but they didn't blow the whistle. You got to play it through. You can't challenge a referee.
This ain't Super Bowl 50. Cam Newton, and you just screw the ball, man. Let's just walk off. No, we don't.
A comment here from Millie Mills, and I did notice Zoe Carter play tonight. It said, did you notice Zoe Carter played most of the first and got no pressure? Starting to think Buddy's robbing us. I feel like, this is me personally, you had to put somebody out there. You had to see who's going to start on that edge. I think that's why you saw Lorenzo, and then you saw Zach Harrison as well.
I did see a good bit of Lorenzo playing more like coverage, most of the time, though. I will say. So, and some of it was mixed. Though. It was mixed. Though.
I mean, I'm not mad he didn't go. I don't feel like he went 100%. I'll be honest, but I'm not mad he didn't go 100% because maybe he knows his spot solidified. And he just doesn't want to get injured if I look at it that way. But would have loved to seen a little more effort, I guess you could say, out of Carter. Definitely wanted to see him get back there and bust something up. But it is preseason. We'll see what happens with that. President said pass rush is looking alive. Yeah, absolutely. It is looking good. And this is depth players, man. Center buffed the snap, though. He did buff the snap. But dude, he didn't even try to grab the ball. He watched it roll and was like telling the referee false starts. I'm like, yo.
That was the funny thing, dog. I said, what the hell is he doing?
Philip, if you had to pick a player on offense, you had to pick a player on defense. Who stood out in the first half on offense and who stood out on defense?
I'm going to say on offense, this might be cliche, but it's going to be Michael Penix. I'm not going to lie. Defense, I'm going to go with Hamilton. He was all over the field. He was making tackles.
Hamilton was all over the field.
He made a good, he was reading the offense perfect, man. I don't know if that's just the veteran in him or what, but he was reading it good. He even had I think he had the interception or forced it. So, I mean.
He forced it. He helped
King.
Part of it, yeah.
So, hey, that's what he got me.
Offense, Philip, who do you think stole the show? Or you said Michael Penix. Defense, who do you think stole the show?
No, I'll say Hamilton.
That's right. You did say Hamilton. My bad. I was reading the comments here. My fault. Live show, man. We mess up here. This isn't no edits and cuts. This is live, raw coverage here from Dirty Fanatics United. Philip, I would say the person that impressed me, and this may be a shocker to some people, because I kind of told you I felt like Penix was going to come out here and shine. So I don't want to come out and say the same player. I don't want to say Penix was the guy that impressed me, which he very much did.
You could say Blair as well, though.
I want to say, and this is maybe because I've been so hard on the guy because we've had him on the roster for a couple years now. I want to say John Fitzpatrick. I mean, the block that he put up, the block he put up for Carlos Washington Jr. to get in the end zone was a very, dominant dog block, what he used to do in college. And then when you're in the red zone, it's third and goal and like 12. Third and goal, and you're on like the 12-yard line. He gets a catch and he bulldogs himself with 3 defenders on his back to the 1-yard line. Then setting up the run play for Carlos Washington Jr., making the run block. John Fitzpatrick gets my stole for the show tonight, first half. President said, he said, Fitz looking tough. Yeah. Fitzgerald has finally took that second step. Maybe, just maybe, he's finally has a coach now that knows how to use more than one tight end and doesn't use Kyle Pitts as a blocking tight end. Maybe that's what it is. But Fitzpatrick looking nice here in the first half of our halftime report show. That's who stole the show for me on offense. Defense, this is where it gets kind of tough because everybody did their job. You know what I mean? You don't have that one guy that just stood out because everybody did their job. But if I had to give it to somebody, it's J.D. Bertrand. The rookie stole the show for me with 4 tackles, 1 assist, all over the field, scanning the ball left to right. He's obviously a rookie, so he did have some slip-ups, did get beat a couple of times. But to be a rookie from Notre Dame, he looked pretty well nice to me. And that's who my defense diamond's going to be for tonight for the first half. Obviously, still 2 quarters of football to play. So we'll probably not be live again tonight, but we will talk about it in the coming up days, a recap of the preseason game. Millie Mills in the chat said, yeah, Fitz did look good too. I just thought Homie was a little faster, but Arthur Smith was dumb for not playing him more. Absolutely. Absolutely. Fitzpatrick's always been that. Obviously Darnell Washington moves pretty quick.
It reminds me of how we use Levine Tololo.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good comparison. Yep.
Like the underrated tight end that you didn't really see a whole lot, but can do it. You know what I mean?
Philip, anything we're hoping to see here, obviously, as we wrap up our halftime report show, anything we're looking to see here when it comes to the second half? What is something Falcon fans can expect? What are you expecting as a fan? Who are you maybe have your eye on? Obviously, the players that we listed. Philip, I want to note, we talked about who did we think would be the first receiver Michael Penix would make a completion to, and we both said Blair. Casey Washington. No, Casey Washington.
Was it?
Was his first completion. We talked about it. Casey Washington. I'm gonna go back and edit that first throw and that clip of us, and I'm gonna post that up. Philip.
Okay, yeah, Blair was the second because it was a deep pass.
Yep, absolutely. But Philip, anything in particular we're watching here for the second half of the first preseason game versus Miami?
Well, nerds, get your popcorn ready because we're gonna get to see a whole lot of shit show here.
Oh man.
Tyler Haneke can't get his shit together. He's getting sacked, watching himself get sacked, watching the ball roll on the ground like an egg. But maybe he gets it together, being for real, though. I'm not going to hate on him because he's done some good stuff for us a little bit. You know, it's been a tough 2 years 2 years here with Arthur Smith. So, maybe he gets it together, shows the league why he's, in the league anyway. You know what I mean? He was undrafted, but that don't mean anything. You know what I mean? So, hopefully he gets his stuff together, but I'm kind of looking forward to seeing the fourth-string quarterback. I can't think of his name at the moment, but
exactly.
I'm kind of looking forward to him.
Yeah. Anybody on the defense side of the ball that you're looking to see more of? I feel like I have yet to see a lot of. Was Rook on the field first half?
He has been.
Was he?
Barely, mainly second in the end of the second, but I want to see more of Rook and Brandon Dolores.
Yep.
And speaking of Malone is out there as we speak now.
Okay, nice. So the game's back on, huh?
And we got a sack. No, we didn't.
Right.
Okay, right. It was a good stop though. It was behind the line. I got a little excited.
I'm not seeing Rook's name on this.
Brandon Dolores is out there. He's 54. It looks like.
So Brandon Dolores is on the field, number 54, for whoever asked that question earlier. Philip, the game is back on. It's time to get back to some Falcon football. Shout-outs for tonight as we head into it. I will say I'm looking forward to seeing Rook. That's who I want to see. Rook Ohurohu, D'Angelo Malone, offense. I want to see some of these deep receivers, maybe some more Casey Washington. Who knows what happens here in the second or third and fourth quarter.
Yes,
Philip, shout-outs for tonight, bro, as we close this thing out. And
y'all
can catch us back live maybe Sunday or Monday night. Stay tuned.
Shout out to the boys that's in here already. Shout out to I'm hoping lower left or right ankle. I don't remember, but praying that you all good, brother. We would love to have you back like early in the season. We wouldn't want to hold. So yeah. Shout out to I went that hard on him. Shout out to Heineke, bro. Maybe you get your stuff together, brother. I don't hate you, but you pissed me off earlier. but shout out to the team too, man. Shout out to Penix. Let's get this preseason done, bro.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to Philip for coming on with me at the halftime report here with DFU, man. Our first ever halftime report. We're going to do more of these this year during the regular season if we're not at the game. So stay tuned, man. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. If you're catching this later, leave a comment. Let's talk Falcon football in the comment section. Let me know what you think about these Atlanta Falcons first half playoff. I'm already talking about the playoffs, Philip. Preseason game here for Dolphins versus Falcons down in Miami. It's your boy Chase Phillip from Dirty Fanatics United. Shout out everybody that tuned in tonight. We out of here, man. A-Town down. Rise up.